Listen and practice.
At the end of the school year, before everyone goes off on vacation, my classmates like to have a picnic. We go to a nice place by the river, and everyone brings something to eat. It's a time when we talk about our plans for the summer. Usually it's nice and warm, and we all like to go swimming in the river.
Listen and practice.
One of my friends invited me to see a movie with her last week. I was sure she'd said Wednesday night, and I'd written it down on my calendar as Wednesday. On Tuesday night, I didn't come home until late because I had gone to a friend's house for dinner, and I had left my cell phone at home. When I got home, there was an angry message on my voicemail from my friend, and she'd sent me several texts. We were supposed to see the movie Tuesday night, and she'd waited for me in front of the theater for an hour.
Listen and practice.
I want to do something useful before I go to college next year, so I'm going to work in an old people's home as soon as I finish school. My job is to work with the nurses and help the people get dressed, and I'll go for walks with them. Things like that. The job starts in July, and it's for at least 9 months. I'll also live in the home while I'm working there. I'll work until I've saved enough money for a vacation. I'm going to Florida with some friends after the job ends. I'll need to relax. I won't be tired if I have a vacation before school starts.
Listen and practice.
I grew up near Chicago. I really wanted to be a gym teacher at a school. I loved sports, and I used to play them a lot. After I graduated, I tried to get a job as a gym teacher in my town, but I couldn't. I didn't want to move away because my father was sick, so I had to find something else to do. Well, I was always kind of interested in cooking. My mom taught me to cook, and I often used to make meals for the family when I was a kid. Anyway, my dad's friend had a small restaurant, and he asked me if I'd like to help out. My first job was helping in the kitchen, and that's where I really learned to cook. I used to watch the chefs at work so that I could pick up their techniques. Then, a year later, the owner asked me to be one of the chefs. Then, a couple of years ago, I decided to open up my own restaurant. It's done really well. We have 3 chefs, and we're usually very busy, especially on the weekends.
Listen and practice.
Well, I speak Spanish pretty well, so before I go to college, I'm going to travel around South America. I have an old friend from school in Brazil and a pen pal in Chile, so I have some people to visit. I also want to go and see the rainforest. I'm working in a local restaurant right now, but as soon as I have enough money, I'll book a flight to Rio de Janeiro. I'll spend about a month in Brazil, then go on to Chile, I think. I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be fantastic. When I'm traveling around, I'll call home twice a week. If I don't keep in touch, I know my parents will worry.
Listen and practice.
When any of us has a birthday, The rule is that we all go out together. We like to get a nice present and treat the birthday person to dinner at a restaurant, but it's nice just to get together. We've been doing this now for over 10 years, ever since we became friends at college. It's a way to keep in touch and a time to catch up on what's been happening with everyone.
Listen and practice.
For Thanksgiving, we usually like to get together with some of the neighbors for a big dinner. We take turns having it at each other's homes. It's fun because it's a time when the guys do all the cooking. But the menu is always the same: roast turkey with stuffing and mashed potatoes. After a fabulous dinner, we watch a football game together on TV.
Listen and practice.
Early people traveled around to find food and water. Most explorers travel because they are curious and want to discover new places and to learn new things. Some early explorers hoped to get rich by discovering new plants, animals, or treasures, and by selling them when they got home. Today, explorers travel to have an adventure, to learn more about remote places, to find something new to help science, or maybe to be famous.
Listen and practice.
Until about 10,000 years ago, people lived in small family groups and they didn't travel a lot. Then, as villages and towns became bigger, people had to travel to find food. People used animals to carry goods like meat and fur. Then, about 6,000 years ago, people started to travel long distances to trade metals, salt, and spices. Ships began trading in the Middle East 4,500 years ago. People used ships because animals could not travel over water. Soon, people were trading all around Europe and Asia.
Listen and practice.
In 1804, Richard Trevithick built the first train in Wales in the United Kingdom. Its steam engine used coal to heat water. The hot water made steam, and the steam powered the engine. The train moved along two metal tracks called a railroad. In 1825, the world's first railroad system opened in the United Kingdom. Soon, railroads with steam trains were common all around the world. By 1930, steam trains could travel at about 150 kilometers per hour.
Listen and practice.
In 1862, the first underground train system opened in London in the United Kingdom. Today, more than 160 cities around the world have underground trains. Modern trains have electric motors or diesel engines. Some long-distance trains have restaurants and sleeper cars with beds for passengers to sleep in. Trains are good because they use less fuel per passenger than cars, buses, or planes. Some high-speed trains can travel at more than 300 kilometers per hour.
Listen and practice.
The first fish appeared about 510 million years ago. They were Earth's first vertebrates, animals with a backbone. Today, there are about 24,000 different types of fish. All of them have gills to take oxygen from water. Most of them also have fins and a tail to help them to swim. Scientists think that amphibians evolved from fish that lived in shallow water. About 400 million years ago, amphibians became the first vertebrates that lived on land and walked on legs. Young amphibians have gills, but then they grow lungs so that they can breathe air. There are more than 4,000 species of amphibian today, like frogs, toads, and salamanders.